These are the most disturbing Disney accidents. In 1979, a woman riding Space Mountain was feeling extremely ill. When the ride ended, employees rushed to find medical help, but other employees weren't notified, boarded new passengers, and started the ride again. When the ride ended the second time, she was in a coma and died a week later from an unknown brain tumor. In the mid-60s, 19-year-old Thomas Cleveland tried to sneak into Disneyland. He raced past security officers and attempted to jump beneath the monorail track right as the train was approaching. Thomas tragically died upon impact. And in 1977, 4-year-old Joel Good jumped a fence surrounding Disney World's castle and fell into the moat of 5 feet deep water, drowning to death shortly after.
This is why you should never go to Disneyland. In the 70s, a 4-year-old drowned at the Cinderella Castle. She was climbing a fence and fell into her death. In the 80s, a young woman rode Space Mountain after she felt so ill she couldn't get out of her seat. But the employees accidentally sent her on another round, which sent her into a coma, and she died a week later.
The original story of Sleeping Beauty. Now, when the prince stumbles across a castle, he climbs in through a window to find Sleeping Beauty unconscious, and instead of kissing her and doing all the romantic stuff, he rapes her, and then she ends up pregnant. Now, during giving birth, she wakes up obviously from the pain, and then at some point, one of her kids sucks the poison out of her finger. And when the prince finds out that she has given birth, he comes back and they fall in love even though he's married. Now, when the prince's wife finds out, she tries to get her burned, her twins killed, cooked, and fed to animals, but obviously she is incapable of doing that. And then they simply get married and live happily ever after, even though he raped her while she was unconscious. This story is absolutely messed up, and it's horrifying to think of the movie we see now and what the original story was. Like, how did Disney even switch such a horrible story into such a magical one? Like, I don't even get it.
This is why you should never go to Disneyland Part 5. So anyone that's been to Disneyland knows that they have a thing called park rangers. Park rangers are basically people that patrol the theme park and make sure it's safe, everything's going well, and there's no problems. But here's the scary part. There's been many incidences where there's been fake park rangers. So basically people that dressed up as park rangers, whether it be guys or girls. And what they would do is go up to naive little kids and tell them they can give them like a back tour of the entire Disneyland, like basically like a VIP tour. And what they would do is they would take them to a certain area where there would be a van ready to pick them up. Basically, they had an entire plot to kidnap these kids and take them away. There's been over 50 of these incidences reported, and none of these kids have ever been found since or reported missing. Comment below if you want to see a part 6. Disneyland Horror Stories, Part 1. So everyone that knows Disneyland knows about its famous haunted house. Well, years ago, there was a little boy and he loved Disneyland. He told his mom that if he ever died, the one wish he wanted was to have his ashes buried at the haunted house. Well, fast forward years later and her son passed away. So the mom, looking to fulfill his wish, got all of his ashes and went to Disneyland. When she tried burying him at the haunted house, the staff at Disneyland caught her. And obviously they were forced to kick her out, but the thing is that she snuck back in later that night to bury the ashes again. But this time she got away with it. Ever since, there's been hundreds of random visitors that have went to Disneyland and claimed to have seen the boy's spirit in the haunted house. And to this day, people report that they still see his spirit. Comment below if you want to see a part 2.
This is why you should never go to Disneyland. In 1981, a man was murdered in the Tomorrowland lineup. A man accused an 18-year-old of pinching his girlfriend, then stabbed him to death. In 2003 at Big Thunder Mountain, the roller coaster derailed and injured 10 people, and even crushed one passenger to death. This is why you should never go to Disneyland. In 2016, 2-year-old Lane Graves was playing along the water at a Disney resort, but an alligator was watching him. It snatched Lane into the water, while his parents screamed in terror. The boy's body was recovered a few days later. In 2004, during a Disney parade, a cast member got stuck under the Beauty and the Beast float, and was crushed and killed right before the public viewing area.